Shivaya Gurave Namaha, Shri Matre Nama, by bowing down to the Divine Mother, Father of the Universe, Parampita Parameshwara, Ma Lalita Tripura Sundari, with the blessings of Jagat Guru Adi Shankaracharya, Sringeri Jagat Guru Bharati Tirtha Swamiji, Vidushekara Bharati Swamiji, my beloved Kanchi Mahaperyava, and all the Siddha Masters, Shambhala Masters, and the entire Guru Mandala. I welcome you all into my channel, Inner Journey with Lakshmi. So today we are once again going to discuss about the beautiful, supremely glorious, most exalted forms of worship to the Divine Mother. And one of the pillars of Sri Vidya, that is the sacred, powerful Soundarya Lahari. So, as part of today's video, I'm going to answer all those questions that you have sent me as email and also onto my phone as a response, or the questions that you got after watching my previous video. If you haven't watched my previous video, then I'm giving the link in the description section. Kindly go and watch the video so that you get a broader understanding, a bigger picture, or probably a foundation of this beautiful sacred Soundarya Lahari. So basically, this divine and supremely magnificent forms of worship to the Divine Mother, that is this Soundarya Lahari, is not from this planet Earth. Everything is written in Markandeya Samhita. Soundarya Lahari is a Mahastotram. It fulfills all kinds of uses. It's a phenomenal manifestation tool, and it eliminates three kinds of diseases, which are Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika, Adhyatmika. Adi Bhautika means all the physical ailments will be removed. Adi Daivika means the Soundarya Lahari shlokas prevent you and protect you from natural calamities. And Adhyatmika means all the spiritual problems will also be eliminated. Like some people, when they practice extensive Kundalini awakening methodologies, they experience sometimes Kundalini energy getting stuck in certain part of chakra, or sometimes if Kundalini raises from wrong nadi, that means Kundalini energy has to raise from the Sushumna nadi. We all know that. By chance, if Kundalini energy rises through Ida nadi or Pingala nadi, all the consequences that arise because of this also will be treated and eliminated by this most powerful Soundarya Lahari. But I personally advise you that if you recite Soundarya Lahari, keeping aside the benefits or the manifestations, and if you try to purely recite it out of love for the Divine Mother, with full surrender and complete faith that that she would take care of you, that's it, she would take over your life, I think that's the best way of reciting Soundarya Lahari. But I do understand many people are undergoing through many issues, and it's absolutely essential, and it is also allowed and okay if you are reading or reciting Soundarya Lahari for the sake of getting rid of your problems, or for the sake of manifesting jobs, promotions, beauty, and all these things. Soundarya Lahari is a beautiful technology, a spiritual technology to eliminate the graha doshas, that mean the planetary related doshas or the horoscope related doshas like Kala Sarpa dosha, Naga dosha, Sarpa dosha, Mahasarpa dosha, Kuja dosha, Manglik dosha, Rahu dosha, Ketu dosha, Shani dosha, Pitru dosha. All these things can be eliminated, and these doshas will not touch a sadhak who recites Soundarya Lahari every day. And when your chakras are blocked, in order to awaken your chakras, open your chakras, cleanse your chakras, purify your chakras, that also can be beautifully performed by Soundarya Lahari. The next question is how to recite Soundarya Lahari. So each shloka in Soundarya Lahari is a capsule. I always say that every shloka is a capsule of powerful energy of the Divine Mother of the Yantra Shastra, Tantra Shastra, Mantra Shastra embedded within it. So when you recite Soundarya Lahari, that power gets embedded into your aura, just like when you consume a tablet, the material the stuff, the content within the tablet gets into your bloodstream and starts working on your system. In a similar way, Soundarya Lahari also does the job in a similar manner. When you recite, all the energy is first dispersed and then it gets diverted into the person's aura. So that is how it works. This Soundarya Lahari has 100 shlokas that you all know. The first 41 shlokas are given by Ma Shakti, Ma Lalitambika herself, and the remaining 51 shlokas are written by Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya. As you all know, he goes to Kailasa to have the darshan of Shiva and Shakti. Bhagwan Shiva gives him 5 Atmalingas, and these Atmalingas have been placed at Sringeri. Another Atmalinga is placed at Kanchi, another one at Kedar, another one at Nepal, Neelakanteshwar temple, another one at Chidambaram. So these 5 Atmalingas that Adishankaracharya gets from Bhagavan Shiva were placed at Chidambaram, Sringeri, Kanchi, Kedarnath, Nepal, Neelakanteshwar temple. These are the 5 locations that they are placed. Next thing, Ma Lalita Tripur Sundari gives him Soundarya Lahari. As you all know, while Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya is coming back from there, Nandishwara takes his books, tears it down, and hands him over only 41 shlokas. So disappointed Adi Shankaracharya sits there, meditates, and Divine Mother appears and she instructs him to meditate on the Divine Mother and write the remaining 51 shlokas and complete the book. So this is the story of Soundarya Lahari, which we all know. Now let's try to understand why you should do Soundarya Lahari or recite Soundarya Lahari. Before going on to look into the benefits and the procedure to recite it, let's understand why you should actually recite Soundarya Lahari. So, Soundarya Lahari in itself is a form of Divine Mother. Every time you are reciting Soundarya Lahari, please understand that Divine Mother's etheric form appears in front of you. Whether or not you are able to see it, you may not be able to see it with your naked eyes, but someone whose third eye is awakened or someone who has that Trikala Drishti would be easily able to see that, and many people have seen that in the past. This is one reason. And another thing is all the mantra rahasya, all the yantra rahasyas, and the entire Shri Vidya is embedded in seeded form in each of the shlokas of Soundarya Lahari. Such is the magnificent power of each shloka. Every shloka is a gem, and every shloka gives a separate siddhi, a separate manifestation ability to the sadhaks. Very, very powerful. You need to understand it and then recite it, and that will actually improve the power, the quickens the speed of manifestation also into the lives of the sadhak. And one more interesting point I'm going to mention to all of you is it has been said, advocated by many gurus that as far as the sound of Soundarya Lahari Shloka can be heard, that far Adi Shankaracharya's energy will be present. When Adi Shankaracharya was nearing the end of his incarnation, his disciples were saddened, crying, and very gloomy. He told them not to worry, and he assured, promised that whenever and wherever Soundarya Lahari is recited, he will definitely be present there. As far as its sound reaches, that far his presence will be felt, is what he has assured. And what more do we need? We all know that Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya is an incarnation of Bhagavan Shiva to revive our Vedic culture. So the next question, how to recite Soundarya Lahari? There are actually 3 ways of reciting Soundarya Lahari. The first one is, of course, the hard one. That is, the tough one. That is reciting all the 100 shlokas every day, which may not be possible or which may not be practical for everyone, because not everyone may have that time to recite all the 100 shlokas. This is one thing. The next procedure is you can choose to recite 3 shlokas every day, or 9 shlokas, or 15 or 20 shlokas, so that in a couple of days you will be able to complete the entire Soundarya Lahari. This is one way of reciting. Like suppose if you decide to do 3 shlokas every day, then first 3 shlokas on the first day, next 3 shlokas next day, and again the consecutive three shlokas the next day. So that is how some people complete the Soundarya Lahari. That is one way of reciting the Soundarya Lahari. And the third way of reciting the Soundarya Lahari is choosing that particular shloka which gives the benefit that you want and then reciting it. This is the third way, because every shloka in Soundarya Lahari gives you a separate benefit. One shloka gives you beauty, another shloka gives you immense Vashikaran Shakti, another shloka gives you tremendous amount of knowledge, wisdom, intelligence, intellect, focus, and clarity. Some other shloka is highly beneficial to artists in creative field like film industry or anchoring in such a field, and some other shloka is bestows good teaching abilities. So we have shlokas catering to each manifestation. So every shloka is a gem, every shloka is a diamond, and every shloka gives you a separate benefit. If you want to choose to pick up a separate shloka based on your requirement, then there are certain rules to do it. So the rules are, you will need to first select the shloka that you want to recite based upon the benefit that it is giving. Then you need to understand which colored flowers you should be using for worshipping with that particular shloka. And then you also have to know which part of the Divine Mother do you need to focus on, or do you need to contemplate, or do you need to meditate while chanting that particular shloka. And then in which raga should you recite. I think if you have seen my previous video, you will understand. The entire Soundarya Lahari can be recited in 10 ragas. Either you can recite one raga for every 10 shlokas, or you can take one raga and recite all the 100 shlokas with that. But I would strongly recommend you to recite one raga for every 10 shlokas, so that it gives you more spiritual benefits and materialistic benefits as far as I have seen. Also, you have to know how many days you need to recite that particular shloka in order to get the benefit. How many times you need to recite, how many days you need to recite, what is the food or offering or the naivedya that you need to offer to the Divine Mother, and then you need to consume it back after chanting the mantras. So whatever naivedya you are offering to the Divine Mother, that particular item will hold all the energies of the mantra into itself, and when you consume it, it goes into your cellular structure, into your DNA. A separate naivedya or a separate food offering has been mentioned for each of the 100 shlokas, and then there is a mantra from each shloka for specific purpose and the direction that you need to sit. So these are all the different parameters that need to be considered when you are chanting Soundarya Lahari. If you are interested about learning Soundarya Lahari, then the classes are going to start from 24th of April. You can contact my coordinator. I am giving the number of my coordinator in the description box. You can contact her and you can get added in my workshop, in my Soundarya Lahari classes. So the format in which I would be teaching Soundarya Lahari is, let me explain the format I would be teaching you. So if you look at the shloka that I have displayed on the screen, so this shloka, first thing, that every shloka has to be recited in a certain raga. On the same lines, this shloka has to be recited in Malaya Maruta Ragam. Next thing, the benefits of this shloka are, your body's Pancha Mahabhuta components, in whatever form they are, they will be balanced in a beautiful way. All your hormonal imbalance will go away. If there are any issues between husband and wife within a family, those issues will be resolved. It brings tremendous amount of peace of mind in the home. Issues that women encounter at work, usually those issues are also resolved. And then the female sadhaks, many people actually usually call me explaining about their marital problems. Even those things will be resolved with this. Or it will also curb the abusive tendencies of partner, whether it is husband or wife, or the abusive tendencies of the partner will be eliminated. So the procedure is, you need to take a picture of Ardhanarishwara and you need to place it in front of you. by facing towards east. That means the photo should face towards west. That's the procedure. As I said, for every shloka, you need to focus on a particular form of the Divine Mother. So for this shloka, you need to focus on the Ardhanarishwara form of the Divine Mother. That means both Shiva and Shakti being together in the same frame. Take a picture of Ardhanarishwara, place it before you, and then chant this mantra that I'm showing you once again on the screen. This mantra for 12 days continuously, and every day you need to chant 1,000 times. The food offering should be cooked raw rice, that is one offering. Another offering is coconut kernels mixed in jaggery and ghee. This is the second offering. These two have to be offered to get the benefits. And then the most important thing is you need to contemplate and bring in the literal meaning and also the internal meaning of that particular shloka which I just showed you. So the literal meaning is Shiva becomes capable of creating the universe only when in conjunction with Shakti. But otherwise, he is incapable of even a stir. How then could one who has not acquired merit, that is punya, in this life and the previous lives, would get a chance to worship the Divine Mother? So, this is the literal meaning of that shloka. Now, coming to the internal spiritual meaning. Understand, Shiva is expressed in Prakasha form. Prakasha form means visible, shining, brightness, luster, universally noted splendor, etc. All these come under the explanation for Prakasha. Whereas Shakti, Divine Mother, is expressed in Vimarsha form. Vimarsha means reasoning, knowledge, consideration, reflection, etc. All these are called Vimarsha. Now, Shiva cannot realize his own incomparable splendor without something that is able to reflect his grandeur. What does it mean? Shakti acts like a reflecting mirror where Shiva is able to realize his reality. Like a mirror reflecting the image of a person who stands before it, Shakti also brings about the internal nature of Bhagavan Shiva. So, which means pure consciousness is Shiva, and realizing that pure consciousness is Shakti. If Shakti is not present, the presence of consciousness cannot be realized. Shiva is I, Shakti is this. I is the origin of universe and this is the expansion of the universe. Shiva causes the initial pulsation for creation that is carried forward by Shakti. Or if I have to give you a simpler example, much more easier example, I would say, look at the candle flame. If you light a candle, immediately you will see a flame. And as a consequence, you will see the expansion of light all around in the room. That expansion of light in the room is Shakti, whereas the flame is Shiva. The flame Shiva cannot be noticed without that expansion of light. And light has no meaning without the presence of flame. So that is the connection between Shiva and Shakti. You always need to bring in that contemplation while reciting this shloka. So these are the parameters that are needed to be considered while reciting a Soundarya Lahari shloka. The ragam, you should be careful of the ragam. You should know the benefit of each shloka. You should know the ragam in which each shloka has to be recited. And you need to know which direction you need to face for reciting that particular shloka. Then you also need to know how many times to recite that shloka, for how many days, and what are the food offerings that needs to be made to the Divine Mother. And you should also need to know the form of the Divine Mother that you need to focus on while reciting that mantra. So these are the things that should be taken care. And when you recite Soundarya Lahari by keeping all these parameters, that is when you actually see the result. So my classes are going to start on 24th of this month. For all the details with regards to the timings, Zoom link and all, please contact my coordinator. I'm giving the number in the description box. Everything will be clearly taught in the class with literal meanings, spiritual meanings, tattvic meanings, and also the ragas will be very clearly explained. Soundarya Lahari has 100 shlokas. For every 10 shlokas, raga changes, and each of these ragas have immense spiritual benefits and material benefits. So everything will be taught clearly, beautifully, and in a systematic manner. All are welcome. Let's join, let's grow together, let's learn together, let's pray together, and let's get the blessings of the Divine Mother together. I welcome you all. Shri Matre Nama. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu.